I have that itch to create, so I'd better get out some art supplies. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I know. I've heard some artists say that even when they make bad art, they still learn something important. Well, one thing I definitely learned from this piece is that pens don't write on potatoes. I saw an artist who made tiny little lino cut stamps and made a design by stamping the little shapes over and over in a pattern. And I thought that was really cool and I wanted to try it, but I didn't have any of those materials. But I did have a red potato right in my cupboard. I would like to try lino cutting sometime, and this gave me maybe a little taste of it. I've also heard a lot of artists give advice, and I do believe the advice is very important, to have fun with the process of creating and not worry about the outcome. It's good advice that I don't always manage to follow, but it's definitely what this little project was about. It was fun to use the supplies I had on hand to do some carving and stamping, get my hands dirty, get little pieces of potato all over my desk. It was really fun. I'm not trying to write on the potato here with a pen, but I am poking little holes. It gave some texture when I started stamping, but they did eventually get clogged up with some acrylic paint. So the design I ended up making kind of reminded me of hex signs, having some quaint little shapes in a pattern. And I wanted to start with this first stamp in black, giving a border to my piece. And I was pretty psyched that it worked well to transfer the paint onto my paper. I had a lot more trouble with this curved design. I used to have a finer craft knife that I just couldn't find, so I used this big bulky one in the spirit of creating with whatever was nearby, I guess, or laziness, one of those things. For this stamp, I initially thought of a lightning bolt shape, but it didn't really matter the exact shape because I wanted to put some yellow paint in the empty spaces of the illustration in sort of a random willy-nilly way. So for this one, it didn't really matter at all what the shape was like. Not that the other ones really mattered either, now that I think about it. You can see for this one, I laid down a base of paint first and stamped the potato right into it, but I liked the other way better, applying the acrylic paint with a paintbrush. It gave more control and less mess. For this little stamp, I wanted to try to hollow out the inside, and it ended up working pretty well. I also realized that I could just cut off the excess rather than carving it out from the side. I liked how I put two little red diamonds side by side here. I really like that part of the design. And it started to look sort of like a hex sign to me. For my final stamp, I decided to brave curves again, and I was a little bit more comfortable on this try. So the learning curve for potato stamping wasn't really too bad. It was quite forgiving, and the potatoes were so soft that if I did have a jagged edge, I could just sort of smooth it out with my finger. I don't believe you can do that with linoleum, so this was a pretty easy medium to experiment with. I wasn't so crazy about the pink that I added in the middle here. I think if I had held this stamp with the inner point facing upwards, it would have looked a little nicer, but it's okay. It's all for fun. It's all for enjoying the process. Am I right? Once I saw the finished piece, I realized that the color scheme went pretty well with a little bird I painted recently. So here's a look at my finished sketchbook spread. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Get yourself some french fries and have a nice day.